White House release published Tuesday, August 19, 2025. President Trump's peace summit hailed as a game-changer. President Donald J. Trump's peace summit at the White House is being praised as a major step toward ending the war in Ukraine. The summit brought together Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and key European allies. Leaders and experts are calling it a historic moment for peace. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said President Trump broke the deadlock with Russia. Retired General Jack Keane called the summit historic and a sign of global leadership. Former Special Envoy Nathan Sales stated that peace is now closer, with President Trump standing firm. Former U.S. Ambassador to Russia Michael McFaul described the meeting as very positive and praised the decision to gather European leaders. Daniel Fried, former ambassador to Poland, said a deal to end the war could emerge. Former National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien credited President Trump for progress. Frederick Kempe of the Atlantic Council noted a new opening for peace. Rebecca Grant of the Lexington Institute called it a full restoration of American leadership with NATO and Europe united. Batya Ungar-Sargon highlighted unity between Trump, Zelensky, and European leaders, calling it Trump's win. Lex Fridman expressed hope for peace soon. Larry Kudlow said President Trump is moving quickly toward a peace deal, including security guarantees from Russia. Harold Ford Jr. gave President Trump credit for the progress. Newsmax's Ed Henry called it Diplomacy 101. Brigitte Gabriel praised President Trump's selfless pursuit of peace. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called the summit unprecedented after years of deadlock. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the summit could lead to direct talks between Russia and Ukraine. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called President Trump a relentless peacemaker. U.S. Ambassador to NATO Matthew Whitaker said the world is now closer to ending the conflict. Speaker Mike Johnson called President Trump the peace president. Senate Majority Leader John Thune commended Trump's determination and said the Senate stands ready to support peace efforts. Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso praised American leadership under Trump. Senate Republican Conference Chair Tom Cotton said Trump has shown peace through strength. Senator Marsha Blackburn said Trump is willing to do what his predecessor could not. Senator Katie Britt called him the president of peace. Senator Ted Cruz said peace is possible because of Trump's strong leadership. Senator Deb Fischer commended Trump for keeping Russia at the negotiating table. Senator Lindsey Graham called the summit a significant step forward and thanked Trump for his efforts. Senator James Lankford said ending the war is a top priority for President Trump, who is bringing leaders together to chart a path to lasting peace. Lawmakers also praised President Trump for his leadership at the summit. Senator Bernie Moreno called it a masterclass in American strength. Senator Tommy Tuberville said Trump is respected by world leaders and credited him with stopping wars around the globe. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer and several representatives described Trump as the president of peace. Representative Michael Baumgartner highlighted Trump's determination to end the fighting in Ukraine and noted the impressive group of Western leaders assembled. Representative Andy Biggs said real leadership is back in the Oval Office. Representative Tim Burchett expressed trust in Trump's plan for peace in Ukraine. Representative Buddy Carter called Trump the chief negotiator and said no one else could have brought the parties together. Representative Mike Carey said the president is committed to ending wars and praised the diplomatic efforts in Washington. Representative Andrew Clyde, Mike Herodopoulos, and Wesley Hunt also called Trump the peace president. Representative Pat Fallon and others emphasized peace through strength. Representative Brian Fitzpatrick commended Trump for uniting allies and working toward a lasting peace. Representative Lance Gooden contrasted Trump's actions with previous administrations. Representative Brett Guthrie said strong American leadership is essential for peace. Representative Mark Harris credited Trump for bringing all sides to the table. Representative Kevin Hern said only Trump could bring Ukraine and Russia together. Representative Richard Hudson noted real progress toward peace in Ukraine for the first time in years. Representative Brad Knott said Trump has placed pressure on Russia from a position of strength. Representative Anna Paulina Luna expressed hope for a peace agreement. Representative Michael McCaul said Trump's leadership is extinguishing global conflict and praised his record of brokering peace elsewhere. He also noted Congress support for continued pressure on Russia. Representative Barry Moore said Trump has done more for global peace in months than previous administrations did in years. Representative Andy Ogles described Trump as a peacemaker, not a warmonger. Representative Keith Self and others repeated the message of peace through strength. Representative Claudia Tenney highlighted Trump's efforts to unite world leaders and force negotiations with Russia. Thanks for listening. The full source material for this summary is in the description below.